Now at a busy junction in Rome, this church was an open countryside when the Carmelite Fathers bought the area in 1607 and built this church, Santa Maria della Vittoria, under the direction of the architect Carlo Maderno. Carlo Maderno, by the way, is one of the most important architects of the Baroque period, and he was responsible for the facades of Santa Susanna, St. Peter's Basilica, and Sant'Andrea della Valle. He also reconfigured the Cerasi Chapel in Santa Maria del Popolo, and here he designed the interior plan and decoration of the church. The focus of this is actually going to be on one chapel, the Cornaro Chapel, that was designed by Bernini. On a purely aesthetic level, the Cornaro Chapel is a tour de force in its combination of painting, sculpture and architecture, all designed and executed by one artist. As Bernini's earliest biographers noted in his own lifetime, never before had one artist combined all three arts, quote, in such a way that together they make a beautiful whole. We could call this a total work of art, or more accurately, a Gesamtkunstwerk, which is a nice German word for what this is, a total work of art. It's a really theatrical space, and it needs to be appreciated for its spatial composition that mingles real, painted and sculpted spaces into a single, united, visionary whole. Here, Bernini brings Teresa's vision alive for both sculpted and real spectators as a secondary vision, dramatic, fantastic, ethereal, yet more compelling than reality itself. By lighting the main sculpture group within a hidden window and having Teresa float upward toward a painted heavenly glory seen on the ceiling, Bernini made it easier to believe that divine light really was pouring into the church, onto the saint. Here we can see the subjective optical reality of so much Baroque art as it moves beyond the more objective reality of Renaissance art to a far more illusionistic, theatrical and personal visionary or perceptual reality. The Cornaro Chapel was the private Roman burial chapel of a wealthy and powerful Venetian family whose lineage since the mid-15th century boasted one doge, or governor of Venice, and 6 cardinals. This was commissioned by Cardinal Federico Cornaro in 1647. It was opened to the public in 1651, and it was completed in 1652. Cardinal Cornaro was devoted to a new reform-minded religious order known as the Discalced Carmelites, and he was especially devoted to its founder, Saint Teresa of Avila, who died in 1582. Below the sculpture of Teresa is a real altar decorated with Bernini's relief sculpture of the Last Supper. This was both a traditional liturgical theme appropriate for an altar and a subject closely tied to Teresa's mystical visions, as I'll explain in a moment. As was common in tomb monuments, Bernini included a portrait of the patron. Cardinal Cornaro appeared here in one of the flanking side compartments, along with seven other important Cornaro men, dating back to 1450. Although the barrel vaults above the men suggest large palaces rather than box seats of a theatre, the 2 flanking groups of onlookers peering over balconies add greatly to the chapel's theatricality. Below the 8 Cornaro men, Bernini sculpted wooden doors of death while skeletons rise from the crypt in 2 marble roundels set into the floor. In the vault above, frescoed and stuccoed angels and putti celebrate the ascension of Saint Teresa and, by implication, the souls of the Cornaro family members saved through the sacrifice of Christ as presented in the official sacraments of the Catholic Church. More generally, all faithful viewers can imagine themselves floating upward toward a luminous eternity through the salvational channels, rites, and interceding figures like saints and the Madonna of the Church.